Tonight. In a new filing, Mueller says President Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen has, quote, gone to significant lengths to assist the special counsel's investigation. Mueller goes on to say Cohen helped in multiple, quote, significant respects. OK, so multiple significant respects. And in this filing, we learn that there are multiple Russia-related issues that are core to the investigation. So let me read to you Mueller's words here to that effect. This is from page 6 of the 7-page filing. Cohen provided the SCO, that's the special counsel's office, with useful information concerning certain discrete Russia-related matters core to its investigation that he obtained by virtue of his regular contact with company executives during the campaign. Matters, plural, core to the investigation. Also, the time frame, something very, very important here, could be changing tonight. Mueller saying Cohen's helped, including discussing contacts with people connected to the White House as recently as this year. Just be clear, that's 2018. So again, I go back here to page 6 and Mueller's words. Quote, Cohen provided relevant and useful information concerning his contacts with persons connected to the White House during the 2017-2018 time period. And also in this filing, specific contacts with a Russian. A Russian, it appears that we did not know about. You're going to hear a whole lot more about that in just a moment. But it comes as the Southern District of New York also filed in court today about Michael Cohen, recommending a substantial prison sentence for Trump's former personal lawyer. Even as prosecutors said that the president of the United States himself, basically, it could have, we're going to talk about exactly what this means, committed a felony by violating campaign finance law with that Stormy Daniels payment. The president seemed well aware today that big things were about to drop, going on a Twitter tirade today against Mueller. Witch hunt, Robert Mueller's big-time conflicts of interest, 5-tweet-long rant. Look at it on your screen there, with multiple unfounded and some inaccurate, just on the facts of it, accusations against Mueller. Let's begin here with Evan Perez out front in Washington. Evan, we're here just talking about Cohen. Of course, we've got all these Manafort filings as well. I want to ask you, though, here, Mueller talking in this 7-page document about these significant areas of cooperation by Cohen. What's most important to you?
Well, they talk about, Aaron, they talk about these 4 areas that Michael Cohen was very helpful with the special counsel. And one of them has to do with this contacts with Russians about the so-called Moscow project. It's the project to build a Trump Tower in Moscow. And there were others connecting with Russians, trying to make contact. There were other Russians trying to make contact with the campaign. And in particular, they talk a little bit about a trusted person, a Russian national, who was suggesting a political synergy campaign. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that. The second thing that they talk about, that the special counsel says, is that there's information related to Russian-related matters, obviously, that were core to this investigation. As you said, you were pointing to the fact that these were things that he learned from interacting with the Trump organization. That's a big deal as this investigation goes forward. And then, of course, the special counsel points out that Michael Cohen describes people he was talking to close to the White House through 2018. That is this year. Again, when the president talks about this is an investigation that is looking way, way back, what the special counsel is saying is that they're looking at information that came in this year. And then there's finally how he was coordinating with people close to the president on some of his false statements. Now, we've seen that in some of his in some of these court filings, but it's very important for us to keep in mind that Mueller wants to know how the lies came about and whether or not the lies were essentially an effort to obstruct this investigation. But back to the Russian, we don't know a lot about this person, but this person apparently is someone who is close to the Kremlin, and we know that Michael Cohen had been working on this Moscow project. This appears to be a separate project, Aaron.
And we understand, from looking at this, Evan, to your point, it would seem significant that we are now entering a new Russian into this who was close to Putin.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's what's interesting about this, is that we've seen some of the other characters that Michael Cohen was talking to. We know that he had been in touch with Peskov, Dmitry Peskov, who is the spokesman, someone's very close to Vladimir Putin. We know he was also working through Sater, somebody who a Russian national, somebody who has U.S. citizenship, who was trying to be an interlocutor with the Russians. This appears to be a totally different character that we have not seen before, and it tells us that the special counsel has more information about this person, and maybe we'll see this in more information that comes forward in this investigation.
All right, thank you very much, Evan. We're going to talk much more about this person, talking about multiple times about a meeting between Putin and Trump. We'll get to those details in a moment. I want to go through the Southern District of New York's filing on Cohen, because that was also hugely significant, especially when we talk about whether the President of the United States committed a felony by violating campaign finance law by the Stormy Daniels payment. MJ Lee has been covering and going through this filing. And MJ, we hear the special counsel say Michael Cohen's been very cooperative, but in the Southern District, not the same point of view at all.
That's absolutely right. If you just look at this SDNY filing, it is bad news for Michael Cohen, no question about it. It is actually asking the court to give Michael Cohen a substantial term of imprisonment, only a modest amount of leniency from the few years that he could get. Of course, this is bad news for Michael Cohen, whose lawyers have actually been asking for no jail time for him when he is sentenced next week. This filing from SDNY lays out how he evaded taxes, how he lied to banks, and also how he illegally tried to affect the outcome of the 2016 presidential election. This last point, of course, is the most relevant for President Trump. These are the payments that we have been talking about all year to Karen McDougal and to Stormy Daniels, two women who alleged to have had affairs with Donald Trump. Not only, this is really interesting, not only does the filing just lay out how Michael Cohen tried to affect the outcome of the election by coordinating these hush payments to these two women, it also goes to some lengths to say how Michael Cohen was effectively hurting the democratic process, how he was deceiving the American people and American voters, and how he orchestrated secret and illegal payments to silence two women who otherwise probably would have gone public with their stories about Donald Trump. And even though, Aaron, the filing doesn't actually come out and say that Michael Cohen was delusional or perhaps in denial, the suggestion is at least there. It says that he has a rose-colored view of the seriousness of his crimes and that he is asking for extraordinary leniency, even though the crimes that he committed are so serious. And I just want to quickly read a key passage from this SDNY filing that sums up the seriousness of all of this. It says, after cheating the IRS for years, lying to banks and to Congress, and seeking to criminally influence the presidential election, Cohen's decision to plead guilty rather than seek a pardon from his manifold crimes does not make him a hero. Now, that last piece, I'm betting, is going to be a bit of a gut punch for Michael Cohen because, again, his strategy has been recently to present himself as a new man who wants to deliver the truth to investigators and to cooperate and to get no jail time. That is their goal. Clearly, Aaron, SDNY does not agree.
Clearly not. MJ Lee, thank you very much, as they are requesting 3.5 years of prison time.